Hey students, I am going to do one type of problem from each of the examples that I gave, from the worksheet for equations that I gave you. So I'm not going to do one of the ones that you're supposed to do, I'm just going to do one like them. Okay, so on the first section, I'm going to do number 2 because y'all were supposed to do 1, 5, 6, and 8. And most of these are very similar. I might do another one too, but on number 2, these problems, this little section is variables on both sides. So notice that my x is on the left side and the right side. So I need to move all the x's to one side. So for this one, I'm going to move this 4x by subtracting 4x on both sides. So when I do that, these x's become 0, right? 4x minus 4x equals 0. So I have negative 7 left on this side. Now over on this side, 8x minus 4x is 4x, and that minus 6 stays the same. And then I'm going to solve it like we solved all other two-step equations, and that most of y'all understand how to do that part. So I'm just going through and adding 6 on both sides. Now I have 4x equals negative 1, so I'm going to divide by 4. And that's x equals negative 1/4 as my answer. Okay, there's another side, like number 8's a little bit harder. I'll show you how to do number 9 because it's similar to number 8. So if you had gotten number 8 wrong, then you can kind of watch this number 9. If you got number 8 right, you can move on, fast forward to the next example. Okay, so on this one, we have variables on both sides, but we also, before we do anything, we need to add our like terms. So just look at one side, like look at this side of the equation and see where are the like terms. So on this side, we have 5 and 7 that need to be put together. So that's 12. So I'm going to put negative 3x plus 12. So I just put the 7, add it to the 5, and that was 12. Okay, over here, my like terms on the right-hand side are 4x and 2x. Those are like terms because they're both x's. So 4x minus 2x is a 2x plus 3. Okay, so the 3 just remained there because it didn't have any like terms. Now this problem is just like number 2 that I showed you up here. It has variables on both sides, so I'm going to get all the x's on the left. So that means I need to move the ones on the right. So on the right, I have 2x. I'm going to minus 2x. So I'm going to minus 2x. That's getting rid of the x's over here. So all I have left is 3 on this right-hand side because that makes 0. And then over here, I have negative 3x and negative 2x. That gives me negative 5x plus 12. And now it's a regular two-step equation. So I need to minus 12 on both sides. That gives me negative 5x equals negative 9. Then I need to divide by negative 5. Okay, I have a negative and a negative, so that makes a positive 9/5. So that's how you would do, this is number 9. I'm showing you number 9, but that's how you would do number 8. So make sure that you add your like terms first in the first problem, and then get your x's all on the left-hand side, and then solve it like a regular two-step equation. Okay, moving on to absolute value. So I'm going to show you number 13. On this section, this is the middle section of your worksheet. You were supposed to do 14, 15, and 17. So I'm going to show you 13, and then let me see if there was another one I wanted to show you. Well, I don't see another one I want to show you, but I'll show you one kind of like 17 because it is a little bit different. But let's talk about 13 first. We have absolute value of y plus 3 equals 8. So we talked about this in class. I don't want to have these examples take too long. So I'm not going over every single thing. But remember, whatever is in here, because it has absolute value, it will always turn out to be positive, like positive 8. But I can make it a negative. I can make this equal a negative 8 also, and I would still end up getting a positive 8 because it's absolute value. So that's why when you're doing absolute value equations, you make the first one look just like the problem, just drop the absolute value, and then you make another one, y plus 3 equal negative 8. Because inside of here, you can get a negative 8, and it will still like check out correctly. So we're saying y plus 3, the inside can be negative 8 also. So now these are my two equations. On 14, 15, and number 17, you should have 2 answers for each problem because you do this, you do both problems. Okay, now I'm going to minus 3 on both sides of this one. So I have y equals 5. And then over here, when I minus 3 on both sides, I get y equals negative 11. So my answer is y equals 5 or y equals negative 11. Okay, so it has 2 answers. Both of these are the answers to the problem. Okay, now I said I would do one like number 17 because it doesn't have another one on this sheet that looks like it at all. Well, I see a couple that are kind of like it, but let me just make one up. Okay, so this is like number 17. Okay, so if I have x plus 5, absolute value of x plus 5 minus 2 equals, let's see what I want to say. Let's do 8. Okay, so so this is like this problem because they're both absolute value, but this one's a little bit different because my absolute value is not by itself. I have this minus 2 right here. And so before you can do this, before you can have 2 problems with a negative, you have to get the absolute value, this x plus 5, all by itself before I can do the 2 separate problems. So I'm going to add 2 to both sides to get rid of that minus 2. Okay, so this is gone, right? And now I have the absolute value of x plus 5 equals 10. So now that my absolute value is by itself, that's when I can make my 2 equations. So I have x plus 5 equals 10 and x plus 5 equals negative 10. Okay, and now I can minus 5 on both sides. X equals 5. And over here, when I minus 5, I have negative 10 minus 5. Y'all have calculators. You can put that into your calculator, and that gives you negative 15. So there's my 2 answers. Anytime you have an absolute value in your equation, you should get 2 answers. Okay, so that's the one that's like number 17. I don't know what just happened there. Okay. Now let's go on to 22, 23, and 25. This is clearing fractions. So I'm going to do let's do number 24. So on number 24, you have x divided by 15 plus x divided by 10 equals 1/6. Okay, so the first thing you do is when you want to clear out fractions, you look for a common denominator or the least common multiple of 15, 10, and 6. So you can do that many ways, but the easiest way is to take the biggest number and start doing multiples of it. So 15, 30, 45, 60, these are multiples, right? And then look on each of these and say, which one of these can both of these go into also? Well, they can both go into 30 and 60, and we want to use the smaller number. So we're going to multiply everything times 30. Okay, we're trying to get rid of those fractions. So when we multiply 30 times, so you want to multiply everything times 30, right? So I'll start with this one right here. If I'm doing 30 times x over 15. So 30 is like 30 over 1. So I can simplify right here. Both of these can be divided by 15. And so now when I multiply these, I get 2x. So the first one is 2x. Then I have a plus sign. And now I'm going to multiply 30 times x over 10. So 30 times x over 10. So 10 and 30 can both be divided by 10. So that's how I simplify it. And now I have 3x. Okay, then equals, don't forget the last one, 30 times 1/6. 30 times 1/6. So now 30 and 6 can both be divided by 6. So I get 5 times 1 over 1, which is just 5. So now I have 2x plus 3x equals 5. You should be able to work this kind of a problem. Now it's a simple problem. Add your like terms. That's 5x equals 5. Now I'm going to divide by 5 to get x by itself. So x equals 1. Okay, and so my answer is x equals 1. And these problems only have one answer. Remember, only the absolute values have both answers. Okay, so that's how you clear out your fractions. On number 22, it's decimals, but you can work with it with decimals. So you all have calculators, you're able to use them. Just work it out as decimals. You can also get rid of decimals by moving, if I have all these fractions, I'm not even gonna solve this one because I'm just making something up. But if I have these fractions and I don't wanna work with decimals, then you can multiply the whole thing by 10. Well, when you multiply numbers by 10, it just moves the decimal one place. So if I move all these decimals just one place, now my problem is 21x plus 17 equals 37. And now I could solve this because I don't have decimals anymore. It makes it look a little bit easier to kids. But either way, you can work just with the decimals in your calculator, or you could try to get rid of the decimals. But these are just some examples to help you with the equation worksheet and help you get these, make it better, make your answers better. So I've sent all those to your parents. I am going out of town this weekend, but if you need my help, you can always text me and I will try to help you if I am at a place where I can help you. Okay, so thanks everybody. Good luck. Don't forget your other homework, and the test is on Tuesday.